G'day everyone, we're here today with Stefan from Cured for our Your Market Producer of the Month interview for June 2026. So Stefan, could you please introduce yourself, Cured, and tell us how and why you came to run Cured?
Sure. Morning everyone. Welcome to Will's video once again. My name's Stefan Vermilli and I'm what they call a small goods maker, charcuterie, or it's basically a butcher, like a European butcher. So my background is I was born in Stuttgart in Germany, and my father's a butcher, my grandfather was a butcher, and we ran butcher shops in Germany, and we migrated to Australia in about 1981. After I finished the HSC, I was going to go into engineering or something like that. Ended up working at Qantas for a little while as avionic engineering apprentice, and then Rudy, my father, dropped the bombshell he was going to close the shop down. So I went, oh, well, hang on, that's not very good. So I decided to do my butchering apprenticeship and took over the business within 3 years or so. So I owned Rudy's Butchery in Kirrawee for approximately 30 odd years. And lived in the area near the shop in Sydney. We then moved to Orange about 15 years ago for family reasons. Upon which I saw that there was a bit of a niche, and thought it might be a good idea to sort of slowly transition the business from Sydney to Orange, which took a long time to find the right location and sort of come up with a concept that would be more, not so specifically German, but more general European.
Mm-hmm.
Because I found that in Sydney it was very much a pigeonhole to the German community, and sort of there's so much more we can do with the skills that we had. So once I found the location, then Cured was born. First we just used it as a retail outlet doing the production in Sydney, and then approximately 3 years ago I closed the Sydney shop down and moved all the production right here next to the retail outlet, and here we are.
Brilliant. And so for those who don't know, what does cured actually mean? What's actually happening to the meat?
So the act of curing is basically a very old concept that's been around for thousands of years in a way of preserving meat, generally by means of salting, drying, or fermenting, or a combination of each.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically the tradition of curing has been around since, we're sort of hunters gatherers, that people would catch an animal but then need to make it last, so they would salt the meat and just hang it and let it cure. And then they would have it in the off season. Also fermentation is a very popular way of curing, which then uses lactose producing bacteria to ferment the product, like salamis and things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Where it's the process of growing beneficial bacteria that will then preserve the meat, so it can't, other pathogens can't compete with it.
Yeah, right. And so, Stefan, when you're sourcing your meat, what is it that you're looking for to ensure you get a great end result?
Well, first and foremost, I only use Australian meat, local if possible. So I normally get whole pigs from Cowra, which are sent straight from the abattoir once a week, and then I process the whole animal head to toe and make everything we need out of it.
Wow.
With the beef, like for the jerky, it's mainly the consistency and marbling and the colour that I'm looking for, so that we end up with nice, big, even cuts like that. which is going to be the biltong that I'm making here today.
And so what are you looking for at the end to make sure that you have got a great batch of this, a really good product?
Yeah, well, it depends on the product because they're so vast and varied of the different types of things that we make. But I think with the smoke products, I would definitely say the richness in colour, the nice golden bloom that you get from the beechwood smoke chips that we use, and it's just got to go through the process of being curing properly and drying properly before it goes in the smoker to ensure that the smoke really penetrates the meat and gives it that lovely colour that we get.
Brilliant. And what part of your process do you think requires the most skill or experience?
That's a tricky question. I think it's probably a combination of the meat preparation. Like if you get a whole animal in or specific cuts, you have to know exactly which cut or texture of meat you're going to use for a particular product, and that's and to bone out the meat and things like that, because a lot of butchers these days don't get whole animals in; they just get cartons of meat, and they don't know how to process a whole animal anymore these days. With some of the products, it's the recipe is very much dependent on the actual meat on the day, because they can vary depending on the texture and the fat content and that sort of thing on the meat. And that's the sort of thing you can just learn with experience, and it's hard to teach that. I suppose that's where the artisanal aspect of the shop or the trade comes into it, because it's something that you just get a feeling for.
Yeah.
But is hard to convey or teach someone. It just has to come through experience. So
yeah, brilliant.
Yeah.
And so if you could take people behind the scenes for one stage of production, what's the one thing that you'd really want them to see?
Look, well, I actually think it's something as simple as just the sausage making, because it demystifies the whole concept. And a lot of people just assume that in sausages you're just using the offcuts and the things that aren't used for, that you can't do anything with. But we actually use some of the prime cuts of that. We use legs and shoulders and things for the sausages, and it is just meat and spices.
Yeah.
So there's no preservative and fillers that a lot of the time that you get in supermarkets. That it's really nice for people to sort of be surprised when I do the master classes and people say, "Oh wow, we didn't realise that it was that good." And say, "Well, yeah, it is. It's you shouldn't need to put fillers and preservative into products." So yeah, I think that's the sausage making aspect of it.
Yeah.
And even things like the black pudding, where people just assume that brawn and black pudding is just offal and offcuts and things, but it's not. It is prime cuts that we use, and I think that's a good lesson for people to sort of see.
Yeah.
That it is good quality meat going into it.
Yeah, quality in, quality out.
Yeah.
And so, following on from that, what's the meaningful difference between your cured products and what someone can pick up from a supermarket deli?
Well, I think the main thing is that, like I said before, we get the whole animal in on a Wednesday. I bone it all out. I prepare the meat. I see every bit of meat that goes into the products. We mix the spices ourselves. There's no filler, and because we don't use any preservative in our products, it's the only way that we can get the shelf life, is by making sure that meat is as fresh as possible, making the product and then selling it within a few days, and then every week making a fresh batch.
Yeah, right.
And you don't get that from supermarkets. Generally, they're made to a price point, go through a wholesaler, and then they obviously are forced to use fillers and things like that.
Yeah.
Because it's hard to be in a wholesaler for these sort of artisanal products without being price driven or quality driven.
Yeah.
So we're very, very lucky that we've got the local support and we can offer the quality that we do.
Yeah. That's brilliant. And so are there any ingredients or shortcuts commonly used in the industry that you've consciously chosen not to use?
Well, first and foremost, probably the biggest nasty is the sulfites, the preservatives, for a lot of reasons, but I don't see any reason why you would need to, if you make a quality product and you make it fresh. I think that the pros far outweigh the cons of using it.
Yeah.
For us in particular. But, you know, that's one of the differences between the supermarket products and our products is that you just don't get the shelf life that you would expect in a supermarket. But it is packed with preservatives. So that's probably the biggest no-no. And we don't use any fillers and things like that. So all of our product is just meat and spices. So I really go out of my way not to try and cut corners and increase margins by using rice flour and fillers that are going to increase the margins, but not add to the quality of the product.
Yeah. Yeah, brilliant. And so what's the best way to store and to use cured products to get the maximum life and the minimum waste?
Yeah, sure. Depending on the product, I would definitely, with the sausages, like the fresh sausages that we make, which aren't technically a cured product, I would fresh freeze those. With cured products in particular, like salamis, prosciutto and things like that, I would try and steer away from plastic and just use even paper bags, because it is a product that is designed to dry out, which is part of the preservation process. So it will dry out, but you will increase the shelf life. You can use wax paper wraps and things like that, which are quite good as well. But I think with salami and products like that, because it is a fermented shelf-stable product, it does need to breathe. So not open in the fridge, but just covered lightly or in a paper bag that will give it a bit of airflow.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay. And so what are your most popular products and is your range seasonal?
Yes. The range is seasonal in the way that we do have products available all year, but the demand for them varies greatly through the year.
Right.
Like, for instance, the smoked pork knuckles and things like that, especially in winter, canned ham soups and things like that are very, very popular. Although I can make them any time of the year, the demand just goes through the roof this time of the year.
Yeah.
I think that the two most popular sellers is the biltong and the Twiggy sticks, the smoked spicy mild Twiggy sticks that we make. Those two are probably among the biggest sellers, as well as the ham and things like that, which are a staple. And some of the things like our chorizo, they're really taking off as well. They've become more and more popular. And we've got a range. We've got a spicy chorizo that we blend roasted capsicum and garlic through. Yeah. And that's got a really lovely sweet flavour that's become really popular. And I suppose the different recipes you can make out of the chorizo and the smoked garlic and pepper sausage and things like that, because they're ready to eat, but they're fantastic in recipes.
Yeah, right.
So, you can do anything from wrap them in pastry and bake them to mixing them through beans or pasta dishes, substitute for bacon for breakfast. So that's brilliant. They're all really popular.
Yeah, right, okay. So could you run us through some of your products and how people could use them past a cheese board? Thinking about weeknight dinners, school lunches, that sort of thing.
Well, my favourite, and it's been very popular over the years with restaurants and things like that, that always amaze me, the different uses that they themselves find for it, is the traditional smoked pork and garlic sausage that we hot smoke. So it is, in effect, ready to eat.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just got this beautiful bacony, juicy flavour to it, which, I've had restaurants wrap it in pastry and bake it. I've had, beans, lentils, like a lot of the legume stew dishes.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I just like it just cut into thick chunks and pan frying it and mixing it through potatoes and things like that. But I find that sort of gives you a lot of variation, that product. A lot of people are finding new uses for guanciale now too, which is traditionally used for carbonara, but I've seen that used on pizza toppings and things like that as well, which has really become popular. It's a beautiful product. And I think as far as flavours go, I mean, a lot of the flavour profiles that we had are quite not overpowering. So I don't like to use a huge amount of chili because it kills the flavour of a lot of the other subtler spices that we use.
Yeah.
And it is then more suited for a lot of other dishes, like bologneses and things like that. Whereas even our Italian sausage that we make every Thursday morning, I get a few people coming in, either getting that or the fennel pork mince and using that as a bolognese rather than using normal meat because it's seasoned. It's all ready to go. They just add the passata to it, some fresh herbs, and
ready to go.
Makes a beautiful, lasagna dish.
Brilliant. And so, what are your favourite quick family meals using your products?
Quick family meal. Okay, quick. I think the quickest one that we'd probably make would be something very similar to the German Kassler, chopped but boneless. So I use a thick slice of a smoked pork neck and then use that as a ham steak, which is absolutely beautiful with poached pear and apple, or even a drizzle of maple syrup with like a potato salad or something like that. Is very easy because it's already cooked. You're just browning it off like a juicy ham steak.
Yeah.
So that's an easy one. Anything with chorizo really, because you can do anything with it.
Yeah.
Like just whip it around the fry pan with a few veggies and it takes 10 minutes and you've got a meal.
Yeah.
I think that's probably our go-to.
Yeah. Brilliant. And what do you notice about the customers who come back regularly? What do they say?
It's actually quite humbling because, I have been told that we really, add to the food scene of the area and how lucky we own Orange to have us here. And I think that's really special to hear that.
Yeah.
Especially after I found that having a shop in Sydney for 30 odd years, if you've had a business in an area serving a really specific clientele, like we were a German restaurant, our customers were with us since we started really in the early 80s, that I really didn't feel the love until we closed the shop down.
Yeah.
And it's not until you're not there anymore that people go, oh, gee, we miss you. Whereas I'm lucky in Orange because I get told that before. So I think that's a beautiful thing. And the pride in our product and things like that. And it's nice to see people get visitors from out of the area and they come to sort of show it off a little bit too.
Yeah.
Which is really lovely. And, they're really proud of what we've created here.
That's so lovely.
Yeah.
That's brilliant. And so for a family who've never tried artisan charcuterie before, they've got $25 to spend. what would you put in their basket and how would you serve it?
Okay. For a family. Well, you can't go wrong with a biltong. So I think 100 grams of that definitely. And we've got, the mild and the spicy, smoked whiskey, Thai fusion biltong, which, normally find a type to suit everyone. And it's good because it is handy to have unrefrigerated too. People take it camping.
Yeah, right.
And just for a healthy snack. The Twiggies, definitely. So spicy and mild Twiggies, which find their way into a lot of lunch boxes and things like that these days. The ham's always popular, so that's well worth a try. Smoked beef, which is like a beef version of a ham. And I keep coming back to the smoked garlic and cracked pepper sausage. I think you definitely have to try one of them, and because there's so many things you can use it for. So I think that'll sort the $25 out.
Brilliant, great. Well, thank you very much, Stefan, for
No problem. My pleasure. Thank you.
Brilliant interview, and thank you very much for showing us a little bit behind the scenes.
More than welcome.
You can find all of Stefan's products in the shop and also on YourMarket, delivered Wednesday and Friday. Brilliant. Thank you very much.
Thank you.